Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Caleb. Haven't done a video in a while. Thanks for ruining my shot there, cat. Um, but I did want to do a little update on my Corona garden, as I'm calling it. Doing a little victory garden due to the pandemic. So I'm going to show you what I got going on inside. Today is, I think, the 3rd or 4th of May. It's Sunday. So I've actually planted quite a bit of stuff outside, as I'll show you in a few minutes. But all my seedlings from the last video have matured quite a bit. I've got some new stuff going on in here. So let me see if I can take this off. These are pepper plants. Unfortunately, I took these outside and kind of fried some of them. So they're not all doing that good. You can see some of them have kind of died off, which sucks, but some of them will survive. I think these are jalapenos. Over here is like some bunching onions. So I'm trying to get a couple onion starts going. These are doing quite well. Those are all like green head cabbage right here. And then these at the very end are actually romanesco broccoli, which are a really cool looking broccoli plant. If you've never seen it, definitely Google romanesco broccoli. It's like they almost look like fractal patterns, but they're like broccoli flores. That's a rosemary plant I got down there. I bought that as a plant, just like in a King Supers. Some peas. And then these are the tomatoes I've all grown from seed, which have done pretty well. These ones are a little bit more on the leggy side, so I haven't transplanted those yet, but probably I'll get those into cups. And unfortunately, I didn't label what kind of tomatoes these were. I just had a bunch of older tomato seeds and just tried them, but they're doing really well. Really looks like to be two main types, kind of the smaller, bushier looking plants, and then these taller ones. So they're doing really well. Again, I mostly got them started using this black magic light, which I found at Home Depot. It was about $100 for the light, and it's all LEDs, and it worked really well compared to, I used to have like some T5 lights. But moving along, it's a squash plant that's already flowering. He's looking pretty good. Again, not really sure what kind of squash it is, but I'll find out shortly once it starts fruiting. That's basil. Started from seed, which is cool. That's a Swiss chard plant I started from seed. And some more basil, some purple basil, some green basil. So those are doing good. And then I got a couple other tomato plants and some pepper plants that I bought from Tagawa Gardens. So let's go check out the outside, and I'll show you what I've been doing. Alright, so put this stuff out a little earlier probably than I should have, but the forecast isn't showing any cold nights, so I went ahead and risked it. I can always, if there's going to be a frost, I can always pull these into the garage, which would be kind of a pain in the ass, but do what you gotta do. So I'm going to be using a lot of these grow bags because pots are expensive. The bags are a lot cheaper. They're like a felt kind of fabric. This one's got garlic, as you can tell from the garlic paper in there. So we'll see how that does in container. Then I've got a bunch of tomatoes. Those are actually like beans, and some more basil. Bunch of different types of tomatoes I'm trying out. I bought like a bunch of Siberian and Russian varieties. These are all starts that were purchased at Tagawa Gardens, just to get kind of a jump start. I will end up putting the ones from inside into probably those felt bags, but I'm planning on having a lot of tomatoes here. So somebody's playing music somewhere. But and then this year I'm also going to experiment with in these pots I'm going to do mulch on top and see how that does as far as kind of retaining some of the water content, because One problem with container gardening is it seems like you have to water pretty frequently because otherwise the pots dry out really quickly. So we'll see how it does. But yeah, I'm planning on making a lot of salsa and pasta sauce. Over here in this little bed is kind of our strawberry patch. We originally planted like 4 of these, and they've started like kind of propagating out to the sides here. So I'm hoping within the next year or two that whole bed will just be a big strawberry patch. But they're doing really well. What's nice about strawberries is they are perennial, so they just kind of come back every year. Really haven't done much maintenance to that, except the just weeding and stuff. So, and then the big thing we did here is I dug out this whole space to do a garden. So probably about 30 feet long, maybe 20 feet wide. We had some old shingles from one of my clients' houses. I had to get rid of them, so we just had some spares. So I made those into my walkways. And most of this is planted. I did try transplanting a bunch of my squash and beans and stuff. They didn't do too well. Some of them have survived, but it was more of an experiment. So I'm going to go ahead and just replant those with seed, which is fine because there's plenty of time. But, my whole thing this year, guys, is, who knows with the whole COVID-19 situation. It's been a weird year so far, and it could get a lot weirder, so the idea of being able to at least have a little bit of food security and be able to at least supplement our food is a good idea. So these are all peas that I transplanted. They're doing okay. I need to try to trellis them up at some point. Looks like we got some stuff coming in over here. Let's see what those are. These are also transplanted. Those are collard greens. And these were some kind of lettuce or mustard green, I think. And then I've got, those are Swiss kale. Or Swiss chard, excuse me. So the chard's coming back. They didn't really enjoy getting transplanted too much, but even the plants I thought were dead, like they started sprouting new growth. So they will come back. I mean, this one looked like crap the other day, and we had a decent rain the other night, and the plants really enjoyed it. So again, it's a little early. Usually in Colorado, you don't want to start planting till after Mother's Day, but worst comes to worst, I'll tarp it and just trying to get a little bit of a jump on the season. This patch is radishes. So those have already started to sprout, which is cool. Doesn't look like the beets have come up yet, or the carrots. So they may need a little longer. I planted garlic and onions all along the perimeter of this garden. So I'm hoping that'll be something that'll keep the deer out of it, because the fence obviously is not tall enough to keep deer out. And then it looks like the kale's starting to sprout, which is good. Those are mustard greens, it looks like. Looks like there's a couple spinach that are starting to sprout too, which is good. And those are something, I don't know, maybe turnips? I thought I planted turnips around here somewhere, so we'll just kind of see what happens when it comes up. But stuff's at least germinating, so that's good. Most of the soil was just actually old horse manure from my mother's house that we repurposed. Usually don't want to use horse manure that's fresh. You want to make sure it's at least a year or two old. But over here we're going to be doing a lot of beans and squash. Most of this garden is going to be kind of devoted to like the three sisters, which are beans, squash, and corn. I don't know how well the corn will do. I've had Not really had great luck with corn before, but it's kind of fun to grow if nothing else. So do need to do a little bit of weeding. It looks like some of the grass is kind of popping through, so it needs a little bit of maintenance, but it's a start. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And if you have the ability to, I definitely recommend starting a garden this year, because who knows what's going to happen. And plus, it gives you something to do. It's good exercise and it's relaxing. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. See you later.